Live.
Yay.
Good morning.
Welcome to Becoming Eva.
We got a full house.
Last week it was all about what women want, and this week we are talking about what men want.
Hey.
So
Come
us,
set
it's
the
more
record
like what
straight,
men
gents.
need. I'm here to
Oh,
tell you what men need, not so much what they want. Because I would, if I said I wanted something, then my wife wouldn't be my complete package, and she is.
hey.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Hey.
Ryan come to spread it on thick today.
So
He
I'm
come
here
to
to
lay
be
it
the
on
married.
thick.
I'm here to-
Y'all must have
I'm
got
here
into
to
an
be-
argument before y'all came on.
No,
Try
sir.
to clean
I'm
it
here to
up.
be the married voice of Damo.
No, he trying to have a good night tonight. That's what that is.
No.
Tonight's the night.
Every
Ryan
night
more
tonight.
for 3.
Y'all coming out the gate. All right. So if y'all didn't know, we're going to make some introductions here. Okay. So first and foremost, Toya, do you want to introduce your spouse?
Sure. I have been married to this wonderful man of God, Mr. Ryan Moore, also known as Ryan Righteous of Track Stars.
Hey.
We have been married for almost a decade. We have 4 children. Ryan, do you want to tell them a little bit more about yourself?
Born and raised in Atlanta. Don't ever plan on leaving Atlanta. I was educated at Clark Atlanta University and majored in radio. I worked in mainstream radio for about 7 years before me and this wonderful guy down below and another partner of ours decided that there was just something that needed to be done with Atlanta music and how it didn't have a godly focus and intent for it. So we decided to form Track Stars, and Track Stars is a second largest content providers of urban Christian entertainment. We're a multi-award-winning syndicated radio show, podcast, and television network. So yeah, we're blessed to be here and happy to have you guys doing so well with Becoming Eva in season 3.
Blessed to have y'all. Yes. And then next we have my phenomenal husband, Mr. Chris, aka Jeremiah Dawson, hailing from East Orange, New Jersey. Been here in Atlanta, gosh, over 20 years. We've been married for 7, going on 8 years, friends for over, 15 years. And yeah, and the beat goes on. Just excited to have him in my life, excited to be doing purpose with him, and excited for all that is to come. Is there anything else you would like to say, Sir Chris Jeremiah Dawson?
No, I'm happy to be here. It's cool to be on you guys' show. I like showing up every year. I mean, I watch your show on every Saturday, you know what I mean, and see what y'all got going on and talking about. And so yeah, I'm happy to be here. Let's go.
Awesome. We're excited to
Plus, I
have.
gotta get my name cleared from last week.
You gotta set the record
We gotta
straight.
clear that name. My name was getting. I didn't feel right about Hope last week. So I'm here to set the record straight.
You've been called out, sugar. You've been called out. But you know, you friends to the fam, to Dawsonville. So we can work it out like family. All right. And then last but certainly not least, representing the singles, we have Mr. Damien, aka Damo. Is it Seay? Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Seay.
Got it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm born and raised in Maryland, out of Annapolis. I'm 43. Sheesh, what else? I work in the government. I'm a contractor. I've been working with these 2 guys. Going on about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Aside from that, just involved in church, doing media stuff at church. Started my own podcast as well.
Yeah.
And just trying to do it big for God.
Good stuff. Thank you for joining us.
For the singles.
Hey.
Gotta represent.
All right. So, gents, in case you didn't know, this season we actually have started a new segment called What's Trending. So we have 2 topics that we want you to briefly weigh in on before we dive into today's topic at hand. Okay. So first What's Trending topic is Tori Hart, former wife of comedian Kevin Hart. She wants to hold on to that last name, okay? And some people have a problem with that. So I would love for you all to weigh in and share your thoughts. Do you think it's okay for an ex-spouse to hold on to the last name of her husband? Why or why not? Who wants to jump in?
I'll jump in first because it's interesting that you said that because I heard through the grapevine yesterday through some inside sources in entertainment that Tori Hart is engaged to Darius McCrary,
Mm,
Eddie Winslow from Family Matters.
Oh,
okay.
it was a whole different story about Eddie this week.
Yeah, it was a whole different story about Eddie this
Yikes.
week. But you know what, guys? I'll say this, and this is a insider tip. I talked to Eddie's former manager yesterday, and I was just like, "Tell me if your client is on that side or on this side." And he was
Oh
just like, "You
God.
know what?" He told me that Eddie has been a childhood star since he was very, very little, maybe like 7 years old. And
Mhm.
so this is his time to kind of play around. And he said he wouldn't put it past Eddie letting something like that slip just to get the views and the conversation about his name so he stays relevant. So that's interesting, right?
Play around. Oh,
But
okay.
I think that when a woman gets married, she should want to have her husband's name when it comes down to a new life and a new start. I don't think it's a controlling thing. I don't think I don't mind the hyphenation. When someone gets married because it gives credence to their identity before marriage and their identity in marriage, and so I think that's fine, especially if you're known for something. Like we have some friends of ours that have written a book, and so their name is hyphenated or at least known by the hyphenation because of the previous name that they had in the industry of arts and entertainment. So it kind of makes sense to me. With Tori Hart, she is connected to one of the biggest celebrities in black culture, and it kind of makes you think that you know kind of like and I'm not saying anything bad about her, but Drea Kelly. Drea Kelly as the former ex-wife of R. Kelly. So it's kind of like, okay, when you say Drea Kelly, you think, okay, if you just said Drea, who would you be considering? Who would you be referring to? But everybody knows the name Drea Kelly, just like everybody who's watched what is the name of that show? Um Kevin Hart's Real Men of Hollywood, Real Husbands of Hollywood. They know the name Tori and Tori Hart because of him always playing up, that character. So it does make sense that she would want to keep that last name.
Gotcha. Okay.
I agree. I actually was thinking about in Tina Turner, like the movie Tina Turner, how
Mhm.
she was like, as long as I keep, that's all I want is my last name, because she had built up Tina Turner and didn't want to give up that last name and have to like rebrand and restart
Mhm.
over. So I think it's along the same lines of that. Like everyone knows her by that name. And I'm sure she has a certain amount of privilege that comes with that and
Yeah.
opportunities.
And then I also think about even for people that aren't necessarily building a brand, if you have children with that person, I've had friends of mine that have been divorced that they want the same last name as their children. They don't want to be the odd person out. So I've understood it from that perspective as well. But all right, we got two more to weigh in. Go ahead, Damo, Chris, who wants to weigh in on this one?
I would say get that name up. Get that name up,
I
man.
knew you was gonna be starting
Get
stuff for
that
that.
name
I
up.
knew
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a continuation from our conversation. I would say that I get if we have children together and all that other stuff, or you know what I mean. But I feel like I think I think his wife is a comedian, or I don't know if she's always been a comedian or everything, but I think it's like I feel like it's one of those things when if she's trying to make her name way into there, it's probably easier to go from if her last name was Smith before then was Tori Smith. If she went in comedy, people are like, who is Tori Smith? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if I have Hart in my last name, then that's almost a little bit more easy path. That's a little bit more easy to get at the comedy clubs because Hart is related to, like Ryan said, one of the one of the comedians of our time, one of the top comedians of our time. So if that's the case, then it's like that's an easy pass too. Like, and I understand the whole, like I understand the part about children because I think that's a big part as well. I do disagree with Ryan about the hyphenation thing. That's a whole different topic. But I'm like, once we get married, your name is my last name for a reason. You know what I mean? That hyphenating thing that's separating. You're separating something for a reason. So that's just me. But I think overall, I get Maya's point about it, but I just feel like sometimes people will use that just for their crutch so they can make their own way into a world that without that name will be a little bit more harder for them. That's just
Got you. Okay, Damo.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation between that couple. Because I know sometimes I hear when people separate, they change their name back because it was a tumultuous situation, whether it was abuse or whatever going on, and they feel like that's their way of starting their life over again, is taking their maiden name back and getting rid of that name to kind of disassociate themselves with that name. I mean, if you're an entertainer and you're branding, I mean, you can always, I mean, I know you said he disagrees with hyphenating, but you can always hyphenate to kind of give yourself a new lane or a new name, so to speak. But I think it depends on the situation. I think if you feel like that name represents a certain thing to you that you don't stand for, don't represent anymore, and you want to disassociate, then yeah, go ahead. But if you're okay with it, then go with it. I mean, my parents are divorced. My mom still has my dad's last name. That's never been a big deal. So yeah, I just think it depends on the situation and how you want to go about it and when you're trying to separate and move forward.
Yeah. I do agree with the professional side though. Like I talk about Cece Winans. Like I mean, her real last name is Love because she's been married, but her stage name for years has always been Cece Winans. So I get that part. I understand stage names and entertainment aspects of this. So I understand that part of the whole keeping that name and stuff.
All right.
Real quick, what do you think about like I know there've been like gospel artists who've gotten married recently. They go from whatever their name was to hyphenated, like Tasha Cobbs. She's
Leonard.
Tasha Cobbs. So I mean,
my thing is I don't mind if it's I understand if because that's her brand. Like Tasha Cobbs is her brand. Like I understand that. Like she's not just starting off. And I don't know her husband. Like if her husband was somebody big in gospel,
he's a producer.
Like I mean, he could be. If he is, but I mean, I don't know of him like if he was Kurt Franklin or if it's somebody like of that in the gospel industry. I'm not saying he's nobody, but I just don't know his credentials like that. So, but for her, Tasha Cobbs Leonard is respectful. Like, I like that. I ain't gonna front. I like your name, your almost Cobbs is your middle name and then in your last name versus Cobbs hyphenated that. Because to me, hyphenated just seems like it's almost like a bridge to me. I feel like, I don't know why. It just feels like if things go wrong, I'll go right back to that Cobbs bridge. You know what I mean? So that's what it just feels like to me.
All right, y'all, we got to move on. So in the interest of time, we're actually going to go ahead and jump into the topic at hand. So Toy, you want to get us kicked off on what men want?
Yes. So just like females, we have a list. We know y'all got a list, whether it's written out or in your heads, but please share with us, what were some of the characteristics that you were looking for in a spouse before you were married? Or Damo, what is your current list? We'll start with you, Damo.
Well, so like probably, I guess 2-3 years ago now, or maybe a little longer than that, I started a vision board.
Okay.
For life as a whole, to kind of give me a guide, dealing with finances, my walk with God, my fitness, just everything, and relationships. And I wrote down what I wanted, and then just as times change, as as my focus changes or whatever changes, I adjust that list. Like, okay, this is the direction I'm going in. This is what I think fits where I'm going. And so I made a list. Of course, I want a woman that's attractive. And then but more so, my list goes further past that. Like there's more stuff dealing with the person's character. Somebody who's smart, witty, wise. Like I can't deal with a dummy. You gotta have some common sense. Just being real.
A dummy.
The way you think has gotta make sense to me. Like it can't just be silly stuff, and like you're making a big deal about frivolous things. Like you're really focused on some things. The person's character, them being loyal, trustworthy, funny, because I'm a jokester and I like to play around a lot. So so I can't have some like real, just like strict and just doesn't know how to have fun. But definitely like those things dealing with the person's character is more important, because the looks are gonna fade. You're gonna get older. You're not gonna look the same as you did when you were 20, 30 years old or whatever. So it's got to be something more there, more solid, that holds things together. And we need to be able to connect on a friendship level as well as a romantic level, because I feel like those two work hand in hand. And I feel like if you have one without the other, you're gonna go lacking, because that other, whatever's missing, is gonna come standing out.
True. But I did notice how Maya, you notice how he put attractive as number one when he...
Oh, of course. Well, we talking to men, the visual. I sure did make a mention of. We're going to talk about that too, like what you all deem as attractive, because people deem different things as attractive. So, but yes. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I wrote a list. I wish I could find it. It's somewhere in our house. I wrote it down years ago, and honestly, Maya just like everything. And I think my heart was so pure back then that God just honored that, because it really, everything that I wanted in my wife, Maya, checks off that list. You know what I mean? And not saying like for the all moments, but it was just being real. Like I remember either we were moving in or something. I was looking through a box for something and I saw it and I was like, wow, I wish I'd have saved it. And just the stuff on it. I can't remember because I wrote it like, and this is like, I wrote this like in the early 2000s, like, cause that paper, the whatever it was on was something like a conference. And I'm like, yo, I didn't, this was old. So I knew like, man, God really like, I, seek him first and, everything else, and I really believe that because I feel like he answered that prayer with Maya, you know what I mean? So I'll say that. I think I'll always say what I was looking for me personally, is I was saying a friendship for me. Like I always wanted a friend because I feel like just dating people. And I mean, after getting out of a relationship where you're just dating somebody, it's like, you got to re-know them, la. So I was like, I would like to be friends with the person, you know what I mean? So because we're friends, that's our foundation right there is friendship, so I think that, and of course, attractiveness and different things of that nature. So, yeah.
You want to close this out, Ryan?
Sure. So, like Jeremiah, I had a list as well. And actually, Toya was more things that were on my list. I tried to stay in my lane, right? I was like, okay, I'm not athletic, so I'm not asking for, the top athlete at the school. I'm not a musician, so I'm not looking for the, piano playing, whatever. And I got that. I mean, Toya was in the band. She played instruments. She plays the violin. She was on the basketball team. She played volleyball overseas in college. She went to college on a volleyball scholarship. And I was like, man, if we have kids, I was insecure. I was like, if we have kids, they're gonna have to get their sports ability from her. And I was just kind of like, I'm not gonna push that. I'm not gonna push that agenda, right? Athletes tend to be more, health conscious, and so that wasn't me at all. If Jeremiah would be honest and tell y'all the truth, I mean, I'm chicken wings and fries, and I don't really, and I was chicken wings and fries before I got married, so I was never really gonna go away from that. So if somebody started talking about, hey, here's a kale salad, I would have been like backing up. So, athlete, and then the gym, being in the gym all the time, like I do like to go to the gym and work out and things like that, but I always kind of played off my physique a little bit, like, well, it's people that tell me I don't need to be in the gym, so maybe I don't need to go to the gym. But if she wants me to go to the gym or forces me to go to the gym, so things like that. So I was a little nervous about, picking out traits that weren't that I was not willing to reciprocate back. But my list definitely started off with a godly woman. I had to know that she was submitted to God the way I was submitted to God. And it's important because you don't want to be the person that comes home and witnesses to your spouse. You want your spouse to be complimentary of your walk. So that to me was very important. Of course, attractiveness was important, right? I mean, we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't say that wasn't the first thing that caught our eye about somebody, because that's who we are. That's who God made us to be. Visual characters, visual people. And so, yeah, I think that to the guys out there that are looking, that are wondering, me and Jeremiah need to clear some up. And I pulled Jeremiah's name in, and I'll say it again, Jeremiah and Chris and whatever. I'll say it a million times so that you remember him with this topic. But we did a topic called Christian Women Aren't Sexy, right?
I wasn't on that show, bro.
And so Jeremiah was a part of this show. And Jeremiah was a part of this topic. But what we didn't mean was that Christian women were not sexy in their own right. We meant that Christian women needed to be submissive to God in order to be sexy, right? And so we felt like women
That doesn't make sense.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's backwards.
You're gonna have to explain that.
That was my other co-host, Sean.
That's backwards.
That's backwards. And Ryan Righteous.
That's backwards. Okay, so what it really meant was we felt like women needed to understand their identity outside of their walk with God. Like, know who you are as a person, love yourself as a person, be proud of your shape, be proud. Like, don't be to the point where you feel like you're so spiritually minded, you're no earthly good. And that's what we were saying. Like, some women would tell me like, well, if you're not in your Bible on Friday night, then we can't talk. And it's like, but I have other things to do on a Friday night that might be spiritual, that might be connecting me to Christ. So why would you say if I'm just not reading my Bible, then it's a no-go? So stuff like that we were talking about, right? And so that was on my list, is that a woman that could identify herself outside of her walk with God, be fun-loving, be energetic, be a family person, all these great things that you can be because God made you to be that, right? And so that was really big on my list, was that a woman would be able to have a balance like that. And then another one that was big on my list was a family person. Are they family oriented? Would they like my family? So those are the things that were just really important. And Toya fits into my family dynamic. Like, it's like magic. My sister and her, they are like real sisters. My mother and her, they're like mother and daughter. And so that means the world to me that in-laws can get along. And I get along with her family as well. So that was very important. Family was really important to me.
Good stuff. Okay, well, before we move on a little bit, I do have to talk about the attractive piece because, of course, everybody has different standards and you don't necessarily have to break it down like I find, well, share a little bit about what you deem to be considered attractive in a woman. And then also talk about how, if there is a correspondence between a woman's personality and her physical appearance, can one make a person more attractive? Can a person's personality make them more or less attractive besides what you're seeing on the outside, if that makes sense? I'm just trying to get a little more clarity because all three of y'all said attractive. So I want y'all to expound a little bit on what you mean by that.
We'll start with Damo.
I knew it was coming this way. What I find attractive. I'm gonna keep it simple. I love a woman with a gorgeous smile, pretty eyes, a nice shape. Just being real. Yeah, and as far as like, I don't have necessarily like a thing of like, I only like light-skinned women, I only like dark-skinned women or anything like that. Probably as far as that, the only like main purpose I have is I love my sisters. I love Black women. So the woman I would date, you Black, you're like high on the list already, just for that, because I just love Black women. So not that I wouldn't date any other race or anything like that. I would, but that's just my primary preference. But yeah,
Throw it out there. Yes, throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
with a
beautiful face,
Hispanic
pretty
girl.
smile, gorgeous eyes, and yeah, and then I don't know if you want me to tie to the personality thing, but all of that plays a factor in that too. Because I've met some gorgeous women that their personalities sucked, and it's just like, nah, I can't do it. Like I don't even care about how good you look, because again, that's gonna fade away, and that's only gonna get you but so far.
Gotcha. All right. Who wants to dive in next?
I think an attractive woman. I going off with the personality thing. You could be physically attractive, but if your personality is horrible, then I think that's a wrap for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
What's a horrible personality?
like just treating people bad, always talking bad about people. It's just crazy. Like an example would be like working with people. I don't want to say this because I work with people at my job, but if you get a young lady got her body done, but if she's still just as negative as she was before she got her body done, then it's like, what's the use? You know what I mean? Like, you got a new body, but an old mind. Like it's the same old. So it's like, regardless of how you look physically, you could change whatever. Even if you don't get your body done, if you work out, if you go on a diet or whatever, and you change, but your mindset doesn't change, then it's like you just got a new body with that old mind, and I think that's kind of whack. What was the other? What you said? What do you find attractive? That was the first.
Yeah.
Question?
What are some things that you find attractive in a woman?
I think, of course, physically is the first thing. That's what I would say majority of men, 90% of men would say. So I'm probably in that 90%. It's like, if somebody's attractive physically, then I'm like, oh wow, okay. I don't know. I think
Are there any physical traits?
I can't say that, babe.
Yes.
Damo just did. He did a great job.
Damo's single.
I can't
say it. Lord.
Say it, brother.
No. That's just like somebody watching this and like, share this. You don't know, you know what I mean? Like, that's giving out your weaknesses almost.
Okay, all right.
But think about when you first saw Maya.
Yeah, I mean, I can say what I said about Maya.
Didn't say
that.
I'm not single.
Wait. Mache said, Damo, say it with your chest. They trying to
get That's why you on here. We trying to hook you up. That's the goal. Walk away with a wife.
Oh my gosh.
Really nice. But no, I of course curvy. I really think physically features are there, you know what I'm saying? So curvy, nice shape. I don't want to go in details. I mean, it's just
you okay. You've done good so far.
So,
Ryan,
we'll let you off the hook.
You better be very transparent, because I know you.
Oh snap!
I don't know what that means, people.
Wow.
We need Ryan the villain to come out for this one, buddy. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So the first thing is, I've never dated outside my race. And I wasn't going to. I'm very in tune with that side of my culture. I went to a HBCU, so we had to sit down and have conversations about African American history. You know, me and Toya, we've been talking about that a lot this week. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about that this week, and so I needed someone who could understand if I'm angry with the world, why I'm angry with the world. So that was a personality trait of mine. It was like, get angry with me, right? When I get angry about politics, Toya's right there to be getting angry with me. Like I'm mad at this, and she's like, me too. So those were big quality traits for me. Was like personality, being able to identify, and people on, not on this call, but people among the Track Stars group would say I'm a difficult person to be around, or I was before I got married. Like, you're difficult in relationships is what I heard. And I definitely wanted somebody who understood my difficulty or my high level of I guess difficultness, because Toya was my first relationship. And I don't even know if Damo knew that, but Damo, she was my first relationship. So I was looking at everything like, this feels good, this feels good, this feels good. I remember when that didn't feel good with that other person. So this is, you know what I'm saying? So I
But
was
that
really
wasn't a
like,
relationship, Ryan.
say what?
You said, but that wasn't a relationship. You just said that other person.
Yeah, I've heard
No,
something. That's
It
not
wasn't a relationship.
got you first.
Jeremiah knows who I'm talking about. He knows that wasn't a relationship, Jeremiah. Don't play me. And Toya knows who I'm talking about too. And so no, it wasn't. It was just
Okay, carry on. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'll put it this way. In your eyes, it wasn't, but in her eyes, it was.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
A whole nother topic.
That's what I
I've
would
been in
say.
that boat, sugar.
Go
ahead, carry on.
anyway,
I ain't throwing you under the bus, bro, but I
Nah,
think
you're not
that's
throwing
what
me
it
under the
was.
bus.
That's what it
comfortable
was.
in my skin. I'm comfortable in my skin.
I love y'all. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
You know, and so I had my mind made up about things that I was okay with and things that I wasn't okay with. And I needed somebody to understand that about me. Like this guy, I mean, I'm a very masculine man. I like to work with my hands. I like to work on cars. I like to work on houses. I like to do all the things. My father kind of raised me to be that way, where he was just always like, be tough, be tough, be tough. And so I needed a young lady who knew that I was going to be tough no matter what, in our relationship, against our kids, against, you know, finances and I was going to be tough on all those areas. And so Toya understood that about me. You know, I remember one day when we were going to dinner with my dad, and she looked at me and she says, you know, I will allow you to lead in this relationship. She was like, if we're getting married, she was just like, you'll be the head of our household, the head of our family. You know,
Yes,
she said, I
Toya.
won't balk
Toya.
you. I won't balk you. I won't second guess you. You know, if God tells you to go, we go. And that's been our marriage ever since. And so that was like cool. But I do remember this one time where we were supposed to have a date and things didn't work out. And we ended up having a picnic in my living room. I cleared out all the furniture and we did a blanket and we got some fried chicken. Y'all know you can't have a black picnic without fried chicken. So we got some fried chicken. And man, Toya had on this dress, and she still has this dress to this day because I won't let her throw it away. But she had on this dress, and I was like, I don't care what happens in this relationship. I don't care what devil comes in the way. I'm marrying this woman. I'm marrying this woman. This is my ideal 100% catch of the eye, and I'm marrying this woman. And that's how I knew.
But
Wow.
you didn't really answer the question. She
What
said,
was the question?
what trait, what makes a woman attractive?
Do I?
Right. What did
I
you?
don't like
Toya-
sounding
Toya had
shallow,
that-
y'all.
You don't like sounding shallow, but we
I
need to
don't.
hear.
Hair is the biggest attraction to me. Hair is the
Any
biggest
type of hair
attraction.
you'd like to share, or
So Toya knows I'm always trying to ask whenever we watch a TV show, like, is that weave? Is that a wig? I just want to know because I think natural black beauty is so attractive. I just want to know, like, you know, is
so
that how you-
natural hair you like?
natural black beauty. I mean, it didn't have to be anything. It didn't have to be altered in any kind of way. Yeah, I mean, do whatever you want to do, rock whatever you want to rock. But that was my thing. It had to be yours.
Okay.
I remember dating somebody and the wig slipped a little bit and I lost my mind. Like I was going for like a reach around. We were watching a movie and then I slipped it and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
so that's just me though. But y'all know I'm difficult. If y'all don't know how difficult I've been, go watch the last 15 years of Track Stars. And
Not any one episode, just pick
nah,
one.
just any, yeah. And interview Jeremiah and Sean on a personal basis and they'll tell you. Damo
All right.
for the Thursday night calls, they'll tell you I'm difficult. So
Should we let him off the hook, Toya, or would you like to dig in deeper?
That's fine. Ryan is a working,
a work in
we're
progress.
working on it. Yes, because even when I wear braids, I do add some weave in my hair when I
I'm
wear
fine
braids.
with that.
I know, but I still have to, kind of prep him. Like I'm adding some hair to my hair, not mine.
That is funny.
But he still says like, he likes it or whatever. But when we first met, yeah, he did have some little shallow things. he thought were, on his list. So it's like,
All right. Well, now I have to ask, and of course we're gonna start with you, Damo. Have you ever dated someone that was everything on your list, but it didn't work out? Or how did things turn out?
Well, so the last part of that question is to be determined. Because I recently started dating somebody.
Hey.
I really started dating somebody, and we actually had a discussion about this a couple weeks ago, that because we both had a list and we both check a lot of stuff off on that list. I think almost everything on that list. So that's a new experience, to be honest, for me, because it's been like I see some things and then it's kind of like, okay. But like this go around, it's like, nah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. So yeah, so that's to be determined.
Okay. I know it's
where did you meet her?
There you go.
Where did you meet her?
I know it's new, but can you share a little?
Where did you meet
her? She's a part of my workout class.
Okay. Part of the sweatbox.
I know this one.
Hey.
I'm Malcolm Banks. That's the only plug he's getting.
I know this one, Damo.
So, but I honestly,
this one. How did you know?
Like, as far as the exercise group, I considered it very like off limits. Like, I'm not trying to date anybody here. Like, I'm here. It's a social event. I'm here just to work out. Maybe make some friends. Maybe we connect. We hang out outside of the class or whatever. But I'm not looking to date anybody. And
and then IG says.
What
your IG says.
Hold up. Wait, pause.
I gotta go to the IG.
Y'all give him space. This is new. This is fresh.
It is new, but I want to see.
But
I gonna put it on blast.
But like, I've been in the class. I've been in the class for over a year, well over a year. So this is new, like a month new.
Congratulations, Damo.
But as far as that, I was like, I'm not looking to date anybody here. I'm just here for a specific reason or whatever. And my trainer, he started making up teams to kind of help him with getting information out to his clients and stuff like that. So he made me a captain of one of his teams. She ended up being on my team.
Oh my God.
That's how we started connecting to even like really kind of talk to each other on a regular basis. And it wasn't anything like I was trying to holler or anything like that. I was just sharing stuff in the group or whatever. We started following each other on social media, and we would kind of chit chat a little bit here and there, but nothing serious. And then just all of a sudden it just kind of ramped up and we clicked. So yeah, so that's how and that all kind of fell in line with what I was looking for. Like Chris was saying earlier, I wanted somebody who I could be friends with and build a strong friendship with, that other than just dating somebody just to be dating, to try to make it work, make it be what I want it to be, but actually organically be what I'm looking for. And that's how it turned out. We were friends. We were real cool. Just had a real cool rapport with each other. Started saying we had some things in common. We just started talking more, and then boom, here we are. And now you see things you see on social media now, Chris and Ryan.
I've been seeing the animated IG videos of y'all working out, so I'm gonna pick her out. I'm gonna pick her out. Based on what you said, I'm gonna go ahead and listen and be like,
I mean, you don't gotta go far. You don't gotta go far.
Don't.
She was my Women Crush Wednesday post.
Hey! It makes it easy.
All right. All right.
Real easy.
Chris, Ryan, either one of you want to share about a time that you dated someone that was on the list and it didn't work out?
Dated some? Is that what the question?
Not that was on the list, but hit everything on the list. My apologies.
That wasn't
Ryan.
That wasn't the question.
Stories.
That wasn't the question, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah. We're talking about people that you dated that are on the, that hit everything on the list. Of course, y'all are married now, but prior to your spouses.
No, nobody else Now, I'll tell you this. I was the epitome of Christian men aren't sexy. That's who I was. Because when I met a girl, I used to always ask them to go to church with me as a first date. And a lot of girls didn't understand that. A lot of girls didn't like that. And if I looked on it today, I probably wouldn't do it again. I probably wouldn't have done it back then either, because I was so into a place where I was spiritually minded, where I was struggling to be earthly good, you know? But I met Toya at church, and so that was easier than anything else. But no, there wasn't anybody who checked off any list that I didn't that didn't work out. No, not everybody had the full list, you know. No, there's nobody. Can't think of anybody that checked off the list and then things didn't work out. Toy was my first relationship, y'all. Y'all trying to get me caught up and say that she wasn't?
Stop lying.
Yeah. But no, I do subscribe to the idea that between the Track Stars men and our good friend at Mike Six, Rick Sincere, that we can help any man and any woman get to the altar. I truly believe
Lord.
that. I truly believe we had the skills and the tools and the resources and the experience to say, hey, this is what's holding you back. This is
That's
what
a-
might be holding them back.
That's a
Ryan,
big guarantee.
you're little Kim in these questions right now, sir. You're doing the.
I answered
You
the
are little
question.
Kim in these questions like crazy, bro.
Oh
I
my
answered the
gosh.
question. I answered the question.
All right, you want to bring it on home, sir? Go ahead, hubby.
Yeah, I was close. It was close, and then it just didn't go the way it was. I think it wasn't a bad thing. It was just that, you know, as I look back now, I think as a mature man now in my 40s, I now understand where it was trying to go, but it was just the wrong way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you're trying to go somewhere and on a trip and you like, okay, let's go off this exit, but you really like, we should have kept going straight. You messed up, but I was just so like upset. Like, are you really trying to do that? Really? No, it's good. Let's just end this situation. And yeah, but it's all good now. I mean, I think the thing is it's just as you grow and mature. I mean, that was me in my 20s. So Chris in his 20s is totally different than Chris in his 40s. So yeah. So
All right. Anything else you want to tackle on that area, Toya?
I think they did a great job. The only question I really wanted to know, Damo, since you're representing for the single men, have you ever dated from like a dating website or a dating app? If so, how did that go? If not, why not?
So I have, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And I was never a fan of dating websites, apps, anything like that. I did it for the first time last year. I got some recommendations from part of the Trackstars team actually. She suggested a dating app to me, so I did like a process of elimination. I went on 5 different apps at the same.
Oh.
It was like homework. It was the worst. I hate homework. So it was the worst because you have to create all these profiles and put all your information in, and it was crazy. So I went on 5 different apps and I did a process of elimination of which ones I liked the most as far as just the interaction on it. And then I narrowed it down to 2 that I was mainly using.
Was Black Planet one of them?
No, sir.
You know that was still around. Good Lord.
I don't know. I just asked.
Well, I'll tell you that it was Match, BLK, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, and Coffee Meets Bagel. Coffee Meets Bagel was the one I got recommended from Trackstars team.
No Christian mingle?
No. I felt like
Babe,
that
there's not a lot of Christians on Christian mingle.
Oh, okay. That's where the freaks go. Christian mingle.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, honestly. That's what I heard.
Christian mingle.
Yeah.
So,
That's where the non-Christians go.
Yikes.
If you put Christian in front of something, the wolf is gonna come to that party.
Same thing with Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
That's why
the
it's
wolf
called
is gonna
Plenty of
be there.
Fish.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. It was just like, I don't know. Plenty of Fish just seemed like, no disrespect, but it seemed like all these old ladies were hitting me up on there, and I was just kind of like, nah.
Wait, what's old ladies, Damo? What age is old ladies? Like 50s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
What what'd you narrow? What two did you narrow it down to?
I narrowed it down to BLK and Bumble.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
What's
Bumble.
BLK?
That's like black. It's like the black people dating app. Like
Oh,
you're gonna
black people meet.
like, yeah. So I narrowed down to that one, and Bumble is the one where the women have to contact you first.
Oh.
Interesting.
So I tried that one because I just heard about it. So I tried that one. Actually, I liked that one the most because the app itself has more features. Like you can call people on it and stuff like that. So you don't have to give out your phone number or whatever.
That's smart.
Yeah, and the message, you can do voice messaging on it. It's basically like you're just talking to somebody on your phone because it has all the features your phone has. All the other apps you can only send text messages. So I narrowed it down to those two. I started dating somebody on Bumble. I thought things were going well. Then all of a sudden, after we went on a few dates, I got a text one day and was like, hey, I don't think things are working out. Moving on. I was like, okay. So I think after I stopped dating for a minute, maybe like 2 or 3 months later, I started dating again. I met somebody on Bumble again, started dating them. They started acting weird. I cut that loose. I was just like, and I think she, not that it was wrong for her to be dating multiple people, but I think she was dating so many people, she was getting people mixed up. And I started getting weird text messages one day, and it was like, wait, what are you talking about?
Hey, Leonard.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send that text to you. And then it was like, she sent me a message and was like, she was telling me she was sleepy. Then all of a sudden, she sent a message like, oh yeah, come by the door in about an hour. It was like, wait a minute. It's like, wait, what's going on here? I was like, you know what? Gotta go. So then I stopped dating again for probably like 3 or 4 months. And then I met somebody else on BLK. And and in the meantime, like there was a small number of people I actually went out on dates with. I met a lot of people and talked to a lot of people, but I didn't necessarily date a lot of people. And I started dating somebody else. That seemed like that was going okay. She didn't seem too right upstairs for me. So I was like, nah.
Damon, what's the youngest you would date?
The youngest I would date, realistically, probably no younger than 10 years.
So 30, you won't go in your 20s. You won't date nobody in their 20s.
Nah, definitely not in the 20s. No, I mean, like, cause like when I talk to people, like there's very few people I talk to on a regular basis that are in their 20s that I can hold a conversation with and not feel like, huh? Like there's very few people that are like, and so it's like, I know, like just on a friendship level, if I have a hard time dealing, I know I couldn't date anybody that young.
Oh wow.
So I mean, to each his own, you know, because I know people that do that, you know, but they date people who are really, really way younger than them, you know, 20 some odd years younger than them. And I've dated older before, but I don't know. Dating older is different than dating younger, but I wouldn't date more than 35 would be like my limit. 35, 33.
How much older would you go?
9, 10 years at the most.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated older than that before, but I was younger, so I was in that headspace. So like now where I am, I probably wouldn't go older than 10 years.
Got it. Okay.
But
dating at this
grandmothers.
age seems super difficult because people can catfish, like in that TV show Clickbait. I am not here for it. But I do I do want to ask, what are some things single men can do while they're waiting on Mrs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go work out.
Amen.
But
That's true.
no, but like no, really like that's an honest answer. Like exercise really kind of helps get your mind together more than people think. It's not just about your physical. Like when you exercise on a regular basis, it clicks a switch in your head that kind of permeates to other areas of your life. And that's been a big change for me over the last like year and a half, as it helps me to focus more on just day-to-day stuff and anything I'm working on. So I definitely recommend that. Um, Pray, see God, ask God what you want, make a list, because having like a vision board and having that stuff written down and seeing it every day really helps. And it's not that you got to sit there and study it for 2 hours a day, but just seeing it, just glancing at it, looking at it for a couple minutes, it kind of just reaffirms it in your head, like where you're going, what you're trying to do. And it just works as a guide, just to kind of keep you on a path that you're heading on. And you won't just settle for any and everything. So like with me, like it's not that I have like a low tolerance for people, because I love people, but I know like within a certain context, it's like, okay, I need to deal with you a certain way. I need certain things to be in place. It's like, if it's not there, I'm not going to try to force it. If it's not what I need it to be, if I'm not what you need me to be, I'm not going to force it. So just having a list of things to kind of keep you in check as you go along the way, like I said, and pray, ask God what those things should be. Figure out what those things are for yourself, because you know your personality, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, and just live, go out, have fun, and build genuine relationships with people. I've been saying that to friends of mine for years. Just build genuine relationships. Don't go out like a hunter looking for prey. Like, go out, have fun. Like even with my female friends, when they're talking about they're struggling to date, I'm like, what do you do? Oh, I go to work, I go to church, I go home. Like, okay, like you're not.
Go volunteer.
Go out with your friends, have a good time, meet people. Don't necessarily, like I said, don't go headhunting, but just go out, meet people, build genuine relationships with people, build genuine connections. You never know what that turns into. Mr. and Mrs. Right may not be the person you necessarily try to date out the gate right away. It may be somebody that you meet in January and y'all build this relationship, and then a year later or 2 years later or 6 months later, it develops into something. So yeah, I'll just say, live life. Don't be a hermit. Don't lock yourself away, but definitely work on yourself internally, work on yourself physically, and then just go from there and see what happens.
So is church done? Like, is the church done at dating? Like, because it just sounds like people are just like, and I'm not saying, I'm just using you, but when you're talking, it just seems like people are like, I'm going to go to these go work out and may meet somebody, or I'm gonna go to these online dating places. You know what I mean? Like, is the church like officially done? Like,
I mean, I think the only reason I think it was because people weren't able to go. So you're not going to have the interaction, live streaming your service every Sunday. You're not going to have the chance to interact with somebody that may be a person of interest, possibly. But I think now that things are kind of opening back up and people are able to go back to church and stuff like that, I think that will start back up, because I mean, that's a good place. That's a good place to meet somebody. Meet a good solid person. At least, hopefully, you're meeting somebody who's got their head on straight and they're on the right path, and they're aiming towards something that y'all can work on together and build together and try to build a life together. So I think that's still going to be a good place to meet people. I definitely don't. If you're trying to find a good, solid, stable relationship, I don't recommend going out to the club and that if you're doing that, and you out having fun, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I don't necessarily recommend that. I recommend finding people in places where you have interest. If that's not your cup of tea, then I don't think that that's where you should be meeting people. You should meet people that kind of fit. So like, even with my situation, it fit. Like I didn't have to go outside and do something that I wouldn't normally do and outside of my character to go meet somebody. I did something within the confines of where I live my life. So that could have been at church if I was able to attend church right now.
Gotcha. Okay. And let me ask too, we can't leave the spouses out. Chris and Ryan, what are some things that you did in preparation for your spouses?
I think I definitely spent time at the feet of Jesus. I definitely think that I was open to it happening anywhere. One of the places that I was really open to thinking it was going to happen was Destinations. And that was an event that Jeremiah and Maya used to host or used to do. And the ratio was 25-1. 25-1.
A lot of women there.
It was, but you know, as time passes on, I think you have to consider more things, right? We got more people that are, you know, living a double lifestyle, and that goes two ways. That goes sexuality and walk with Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got that issue, but then you also have the fact that, you know, the church has kind of been a tainted place for people to date because of the reputation. You know, I dated one person ahead of Toya in our church, and one of the things is that whenever somebody would date more than two people in the church, it was a scandal, right? It was like, when you dated her friend and that friend and this friend, and she's a friend of that friend. And, you know, I made sure that, first of all, it wasn't a relationship, right? That's one thing. But two, I was cautious not to make any bad decisions or make mistakes that would taint my name or reputation, right? So that's one thing. But I think, you know, you can spend time doing volunteer work. Hosea Williams, Feed the Hungry in Atlanta. We got, you know, thousands of volunteers that I used to see coming from the radio station that would come and be at those events. As a church, your former church, we used to go out and feed the homeless. I remember volunteering and going out with y'all's ministry to do that. So there's ways to go about it. The gym is a good place, like Damo said, but you got to be cautious about, you know, whether or not you're entertaining another wolf. I used to have a friend that was married, and he would go to the gym and take his ring off, you know. So you just have to be cautious and have discernment. And then also, the best thing is to let another Christian friend hook you up. You know, it's not the easiest thing these days because the competition is there, but it's also, you know, and I want to say too, that Bumble situation, that's a bad idea. That will destroy a woman's self-esteem if she keeps messaging men and they don't respond. Like, that's horrible. Like, that's a bad idea.
That's the internet.
Because it seems like it's better for a man to be able to skip over a woman, and he doesn't have to deal with, you know, being fake, and she doesn't have to deal with being hurt. But when a woman has to message a man and he doesn't respond, and he's like, that's killer. Like, you sent 17 messages out and got nothing.
So with Bumble, you can like their profile, but you can't message them until they like yours back. So it's on them to respond. So it's not a setup for failure like you're saying.
Okay.
Like, it's really set up for failure for you, not for her. So you can like her profile. If she doesn't like yours back, you can't message her. You can't. So she has to initiate it. So that means she's interested.
I was very prideful. I wouldn't have done anything to put myself on the hot seat. So I wouldn't have liked your profile. You would have just had to find me amongst the fish.
But the other dating apps work like that. I kind of like people's profile. So it's just that one you can't engage that person until they respond back.
Well, I'd say this: going out in public makes it a whole lot harder when you got to try to figure out what somebody's features look like through a mask. You know, that's a whole lot harder. So, good luck to all you out there. Pray, DM Track Stars if you want to get off that. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh! All right, go ahead, hubby. What you got?
Say the question again.
What are some steps that you took in preparation for your spouse?
I I would say, let's see. I think honestly, um, just really like try to. I mean, I think what I did was work on me and really work on you and like, you know what I mean, try to be more um something that you will want to present yourself to a woman or a man. You know what I mean? Like you will want that for you. You know what I mean? Um, to any singles, and the reason I said a woman or a man is because I'm even for women, like get yourself together before you present yourself to somebody else. Because I hate when I see people, especially online, talk all this foolishness and their life is in shambles, but they got their best foot forward or they got their best picture forward, and you know, and they trying to talk down to a man, but their lives is in shambles. You know what I mean? So get your life together. And honestly, here's another thing too. Is another tip. Just because you got a job or just because you making money doesn't mean your life is straight. That's a huge tip. Like you could be making financially crazy money, but if you a mess inside, that is like the great prophet Lauren Hill. How you gonna win if you like? What she said? How you gonna win if you ain't right?
You ain't right with him. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just being real. Like, like don't matters what you doing outside of that. Inside is trash. So I think that's what something I would tell anybody is just work on you. And you know, I think God is always going to help you find that helpmate when you working on you. You know what I mean? And that helpmate helps you become the better you too. So I think you start your working, and then that person will come and help you be a better person too. So
Good stuff. All right. Anything else you all have? Words of wisdom or tips as we close out for any single men out there?
don't be a wolf. Yeah, don't be a wolf, man. Like, especially if you in church, like, don't be a wolf. That church reputation is real, like, honestly. And then the sad part is when you try to be a sheep and you try to go legit, people still remember your wolf past. So I would say don't be a wolf, man. Like, really, like if something don't work out in that church, you know, I don't say take some time, like, but just really like just be real cautious about your reputation because that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? Reputation. And like I said, you could change everything about you. You could, you know, you get into a relationship with somebody, it didn't work out, and it's just like, you know, okay, let me change some things about me. But if your reputation is you went from her to her to her, basically that DMX song, we naming all these women, and it's like if that's your name in the church, then it's not going to be your reputation is done. So you got to go to another church to start your reputation all over again. You know what I mean? So that's all you have when you're dating somebody is your reputation. Yeah. So make sure that's clean.
And my advice is don't let the heartbreak get you. You know, like I think a lot of people experience heartbreak and it messes them up for dating the next person. The next person isn't going to be the last person. So don't project your insecurities from that last relationship onto the new relationship that hasn't even started or gotten its feet cold yet, because I think that's one of the biggest things for me, is that I never wanted anyone to hurt me and then ruin me for somebody else.
Very good point.
Thank you guys so much for coming on Becoming Eva and sharing.
Dang, Damo, you can't get your voice.
Damo, did you have
I'm sorry.
Did you have something? A final tip?
I do. It's really just kind of real what I said earlier. Chris played too much. Now I'll just say, just work on developing yourself. Work on making yourself a better person, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever kind of goals, aspirations, things God has put in your heart to do. Work on those things, do them. Serve in your church, serve in your community, or wherever. Try to be the best employee you can be. All of those things are all a part of the recipe of what you're trying to make for your life. Work on all those things, get those things together. And as far as the relationships, just build genuine relationships with people, and that can cut back on the whole wolf mentality. You're just building good, solid relationships with people, and good, solid relationships that you started can develop into something more and something you can build a life with somebody else. So yeah, just try to keep your house in order, and then try to build things that you feel like align with what you're doing. But definitely work on yourself, work on whatever it is, the vision that God's giving you, work on that, and find somebody that can complement that can work on it with you.
Good stuff. All right, back to you, Toya.
I'm sorry, Toy. It's just like you just got her, like you're like, listen, Damo. Like that's what it felt like. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Toya looking at that time. Y'all done took us over, but it's been good. It's been very
Yeah.
good. So carry on, Toya. Sorry about that.
I was just saying thank you guys so much for coming on our show and giving us all of your tips and advice for the single men that are still out there. Women want to know what you guys want, what are you guys looking for, what do you guys find attractive. These are all helpful things for single women that are still waiting on Mr. Right. So thank you guys so much.
Yes. All right. And then we actually want, if y'all have any top picks that you want to share, it could be a TV show, a book, a podcast, an influencer, anything that you are consuming right now that you highly recommend to the masses. Feel free to share that.
Okay. Well, also, I know we didn't get to talk about it, but I checked out the Queen show.
Yes. Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was really a nice, interesting take on that whole being a celebrity, being a rap star. I like the way they did it. It was an interesting story. So I definitely recommend that. I'm big on the Wu-Tang American Saga series. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely check that out. Even though you kind of know some of the story, it's just good as it's the way they tell it is very, very compelling. As well as the nostalgia of the music and all that stuff. And it takes me back to high school. So, but yeah, definitely those two shows, Queens and the Wu-Tang Saga.
Dope. Any other top picks?
I'm gonna say 2 books. I'll go by one. I would say first is Damien L. Boyd. He has a book called The Hope Challenge. I remember talking to him about it. Not talking to him about it. He was just telling me some stuff that he was going through and how the book got birthed. So the stuff he was telling me about is really really something I was like, wow, you went through all that. And he's like, yeah, and I had to write a book about encouragement and all that. I was like, wow. So I'm sorry, the pain, sometimes your pain, you write in pain sometimes, but you write through frustration. And I would say this book right here, go pick it up. I'm gonna start reading it soon. And then another book I feel like right now, especially for us, is Urban Apologetics. Is about how to restoring Black dignity with the gospel, and basically it talks about what's going on in like Black churches, but then also what's going on outside and how other faiths are attracting Black people who used to be in the church or stuff like that. So, and it breaks down the history of different other religions that are that deal with Black people, from Black Hebrew Israelites to comedic science to all this other stuff. So it's not a deep book, but it's just one of those books to inform you, especially if you out here in the streets and you walk in, or somebody come up to you, hey sister, you the goddess of the world, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff, and you like, well, they ain't talking about like that in church, so maybe I need to, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things I would highly recommend those. So something to help you, I would say help you in a time of now, like what's going on, but then also for your faith, I would say get something like
Amen.
this. So those 2 books.
Ryan, you have any top picks you want to share?
No.
It's all right. We
No.
got some good stuff though. We got some good recommendations for television and books. So awesome. Shall we go to our BE challenge?
Yes, our BE challenge for this week is to uplift someone that you know that is single by sending an encouraging text message, phone call. You can send them a card. Just reach out and uplift someone, because it is difficult being in that space of singlehood. I remember how I felt when I was single, and just being in the space of just waiting. can be difficult. So just uplift someone this week. DM us with your topic suggestions at Becoming Even Today. Next week, we're talking about relationship goals with Dr. Cassandra Bolar. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Becoming Even Today.
See you next time. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us.